morning children, welcome to Beulah Online Education. In the previous video we have discussed about the Sachs three tissue system and the anatomical structure and the difference between the dicot and monocot root, and in this video we will have a discussion about stem and the leaf anatomy. Internal structure of dicot stem. The first structure that you can see in the internal structure of the dicot stem is the epidermis. This epidermis is the outermost layer and it is usually made up of a single layer of parenchymatous cells, and the cells are arranged without any intercellular space. And the outermost covering seen above the epidermis is a cuticle which is waxy in nature, and the main important function of the epidermis is to protect the internal organs, that is protective in function. And the second structure what you can see below is the cortex region, and the cortex lies below the epidermis, and the cortex is usually divided into three important zones, and the first one will be the hypodermal layer, and the second layer will be the middle cortex, and the third will be the inner cortex. And what is epidermis and what is hypodermis? Epi means above and dermal is the protective layer. Hypo is a layer seen below the epidermis, that is hypo is below and it is also a protective layer. And hypodermis, it usually consists of 3 to 6 layer of collenchyma cells are usually seen, and the main important function is to give the mechanical support to the plant, that is a function of the hypodermis. And the second layer is the middle cortex layer, and few layer of chlorenchyma cells are seen in the middle cortex layer. This chlorenchyma is a part of the parenchyma, and this chlorenchyma contains numerous number of chloroplasts, and it is only in the chloroplast a green color pigment called as an chlorophyll is seen, and which is photosynthetic in function. So the major function of the middle cortex is to prepare the food by the process of photosynthesis. And the third most layer will be the inner cortex region. And the inner cortex region is made up of the parenchymatous cells, and the main important function is for the gases exchange and also for the storage of the food material. That is the important function of the inner cortex, which is made up of the parenchymatous cells. And the next layer will be the endodermal layer. The innermost layer, this is actually the cortex region, and the innermost layer of the cortex will be the endodermal layer. As how you can see in the epidermis is a single layer of cells, same way the endodermis also is made up of a single layer of barrel shaped cells, and they are numerous number of starch grains are present, and hence it is called by the special name as starch sheet. And what is a starch grain seen in the endodermis? Actually, the starch grains are the structure by most of the plants as a product of photosynthesis. And the starch is the most abundant energy source in our diet in day-to-day life, what we consume, maybe in the potatoes or in the wheat or in the corn or in the rice. So the special features of the endodermis is that it contains more number of starch grains, so it is called as a starch sheet. And the third layer will be a stele, that is the central portion or the central part of the stem inner to the endodermis is known as the stele, and it includes a pericycle, and the next one is a bundle cap. This is a bundle cap, you can see here children. So pericycle, bundle cap, and the next one will be the vascular bundle is usually seen here. And what is a pericycle? This pericycle is the layer that occurs between the vascular bundle and the endodermis. This vascular bundle includes xylem and the phloem. So vascular bundle and the endodermis, that is the pericycle, is seen, and it is usually not a single layer as how you can see in the endodermis or in the epidermis. It is a multi-layer, and it is made up of the parenchymatous cells with alternating patches of, that is sclerenchyma is present in the pericycle. And the next one will be the bundle cap. This bundle cap, that is here you can see the bundle cap here, that is the heart of sclerenchymatous cells are seen, Outside the phloem, above the phloem, you can see the presence of bundle cap. The bundle cap is seen above the phloem or outside of the phloem. And what is bundle cap? Bundle refers to the vascular bundle of xylem and the phloem. And the cap refers to a layer which is made up of the sclerenchyma, and hence it is called bundle cap. So the bundle cap is made up of the sclerenchyma tissue, and it lies above the or outside the phloem of the vascular bundle, and hence it is called a bundle cap. And the vascular bundles includes xylem and the phloem, and the vascular bundles are conjoined in nature, collateral in nature, end-arc in nature, and open. And they are arranged in the form of a ring around the pith. This is actually the pith, the center region. Around the ring, around the pith, you can see the vascular bundles are usually present, or they are seen here. And what is a conjoined and what is a collateral, what is end arc and open, already we have discussed in the root anatomy. And anyhow, once again coming back to what is conjoined, that is xylem and the phloem lying on the same radii. This is phloem, this is xylem arranging on the same radii is called conjoined. And the next one will be the collateral vascular bundle. That is xylem is present towards the center and phloem lying towards the periphery is called collateral. And the third important term given here regarding the vascular bundle is end arc. That is protoxylem, the smaller xylem facing towards the center. The metaxylem or the larger xylem facing towards the periphery. That is called an end arc. And the next one will be the closed and the open. In case of closed and open, in this dicot stem, only the vascular bundle is said to be open in nature. So what is open in nature? In this dicot stem, cambium will be present in between the xylem and the phloem, and hence it is called open type. And this open type, what is the main important function of the cambium? The main important function of the cambium is for the secondary growth for the plant. For the secondary plants to attain the secondary growth, cambium is very important. That is the main important features of the vascular bundle. And the last one will be the pith, the large, the central portion with intercellular space is usually called the pith, and it is helpful in the storage of the food material. This is the anatomical structure of the dicot stem where sunflower is given as an example. And now there is no much difference between the monocot stem and the dicot stem, but only few differences we have. And what are the differences? We'll just discuss now. And before that, we'll have a complete outline about the transverse section of the monocot stem as given as an example. And for the transverse section of the monocot stem, as usual, the outermost covering is called as an epidermis. It is made up of a single layer of parenchymatous cells, and it is covered by a layer called as an cuticle, which is waxy in nature. Very important. Multicellular hair cells and the stomata are absent, and the stomata are less in number. Sometimes the stomata may be present, and if at all they are present, very lesser in number, but multicellular hairs are usually absent in the epidermis of the monocot stem. And the second layer is called a hypodermis layer, and it is made up of few layers of sclerenchymatous cells interpreted here and there within the hypodermal layer, which is made up of the sclerenchyma. Here the sclerenchyma also is present here, and the main important function of the sclerenchyma is to provide the mechanical support to the plant. And the third layer is called the ground tissue, that is entire mass, the total area of the parenchymatous cell lying below the hypodermis is called a ground tissue. This is the third point here. And this ground tissue extend to the center is called a ground tissue. Here there is no differentiation of endodermis, cortex, pericyclian, pith as how it is differentiated in the dicot stem. And coming to the very important part about the vascular bundle, here the vascular bundle, it just looks like a human skull, and they are scattered in the ground tissue. Here 1, here 2, and here 3. So 2 to 3 vascular bundles are scattered in the ground tissue, and the vascular bundles are conjoined, that is xylem and the phloem. This is phloem and here it is xylem. They are lying on the same radii. And the next will be the collateral, that is xylem lying towards the center and phloem lying towards the periphery. And enda, that is protoxylem. Early formed xylem is called protoxylem. Later formed xylem is called metaxylem. Protoxylem lying towards the center. Children, here you are not supposed to get confused. Here what is given here labeled as bundle sheath is different. That is not included under the xylem. That is not a protoxylem. This 1 and 2 will be actually the protoxylem, that is facing towards the center, and this 1 and 2 will be a metaxylem, that is larger xylem facing towards the periphery. This is about the nature of the vascular bundle. And the xylem, when you just come for the xylem consists of the earlier formed xylem, namely protoxylem, and the later formed xylem, namely the metaxylem, that is larger xylem and the smaller xylem. Usually the xylem will be arranged in the form of a letter. Maybe you can just imagine this as an alphabet V, or maybe a Y shape. That is, if you take about a matured vascular bundle, the lowermost xylem, that is the protoxylem, will disintegrate and a cavity is formed. This cavity is called protoxylem lacuna. What is lacuna? That is lacking. What is lacking? That intercellular space, or the protoxylem is lacking here, and the intercellular space is formed here, and a cavity is formed here. This is called protoxylem lacuna. Xylem are arranged in the form of a letter Y. The two protoxylem located at the lower arm disintegrates and form a cavity, and that is called protoxylem lacunae. And coming to the phloem, and this phloem consists of sieve tubes and companion cells, and the phloem parenchyma and the phloem fibers are usually absent. This phloem fibers and companion cells, these are the components of the phloem. And last part is about the pith, and there is no differentiation of pith in the monocot stem, and this is the anatomical structure of the monocot stem. And this comparison between the dicot stem and the monocot stem is very important. I am sure that if you keep this tabulation in your mind, very well you will be able to write about the different types of tissues present in the layers like hypodermis or in the ground tissue layer. Here it is here colonchymata and dicot stem, here it is colonchymata monocot stem, and the ground tissue is differentiated into cortex, pericycle, and the pith, and whereas it is not differentiated here. And regarding the vascular bundle, what all you have learned in the dicot stem and the monocot stem as a comparison in the tabulation form it is given, and if you just learn this, it will be very easy for you to write the distinguish between form of question or the anatomical structure of monocot and the dicot stem also you can write very well. And coming to the next anatomy is about the leaf anatomy, that is internal structure of the dicot leaf. Example, mango. And for the mango leaf given as an example for the dicot leaf, here dicot leaf is also called dorsiventral leaf. So what is a dorsiventral leaf and what is an isobilateral leaf? Usually the upper side of the leaf is called dorsal side, or it's also called adaxial side, and the lower side of the leaf is called ventral side, or it's also called abaxial side. So in a leaf, if there is any differentiation of the upper side and the lower side, that is upper side is made up of the palisade parenchyma and the lower epidermis is made up of the spongy parenchyma. If this differentiation is present, it is called a dorsiventral leaf. And example for the dorsiventral leaf, mango leaf is given as an example. And we'll just enter into this question very deeply. And usually, as I said earlier, it's a dorsiventral leaf. It consists of two important epidermis. One is the upper epidermis and the second is the lower epidermis. So it is the upper epidermis is the outermost layer made up of a single layer of parenchymatous cells without any intercellular space. And the outermost wall of the cell are cutinized because it is made up of a waxy substance called as a cutin. And the stomata are the minute opening which are involved in the gaseous exchange. So stomata are lesser in number in the upper epidermis when compared to the lower epidermis. That is, stomata are more in number in the lower epidermis. In the upper epidermis, they are usually lesser in number. Now here a reasoning question comes here. Why the stomata are lesser in number in the upper epidermis? as the stomata on the upper part of the plant is directly exposed to sunlight, that less amount of stomata are present here. If more amount of stomata are present here, naturally there will be excess amount of water loss by the process of transpiration. In order to overcome this, lesser number of stomata are present in the upper epidermis. And now coming to the lower epidermis here, that is this lower epidermis also is a single layer when as such of the upper epidermis, and here it is made up of the parenchymatous cells. This also consists of a cuticle which is thin in nature. It contains numerous stomata. There's two differences you have to make a note. Upper epidermis lesser number of stomata, and the lower epidermis is the stomata are numerous in number, and the more number of stomata are present here because if it is more often in the is present in the shade, and it's cooler, which means evaporation won't take place as much. The evaporation will be very less in the lower epidermis because this is present only, not exposed to the sunlight directly. So in order to loss of more amount of water to get lost here, and the stomata are more in number in the lower epidermis. And the chloroplasts are also present only in the guard cell. The guard cells are the type of cell that is curved cells that surround a stomata is called a guard cell. The lower epidermis is the main important function is for gases exchange, that is oxygen and the carbon dioxide, and the loss of water vapor is facilitated through this chamber. This is the point that you have to keep in mind regarding the upper epidermis and the lower epidermis. Now about the mesophyll. Meso is called middle and the phylum is a leaf. The entire tissue lying between the upper epidermis and the lower epidermis is called the mesophyll. That is the tissue present between the upper epidermis, that is adaxial side, and the lower epidermis abaxial side is called as a mesophyll. And here it is differentiated into palisade parenchyma. This structure is called a palisade parenchyma, and this will be the spongy parenchyma. The palisade parenchyma is found just below the upper. This is the epidermis, that is upper epidermis, and below the epidermis palisade parenchyma is seen. And the cells will be usually elongated cells, and they have more number of chloroplasts are present, numerous in number in the palisade parenchyma. And the cells are arranged without any intercellular space. And the main important function is photosynthetic function. That is the nature of the palisade parenchyma. And this is the structure of the spongy parenchyma. The spongy parenchyma lies, or it is found below the palisade parenchyma, or in other words above the lower epidermis, that is spongy parenchyma is seen. The most of the cells are spherical in shape or oval, or they are irregularly arranged without any intercellular spaces. And here the main important function is for the gases exchange. That is the important function of the spongy parenchyma. And coming to the very important organ about the vascular bundle. Vascular bundles are usually seen in the middle or in the midbrain on the lateral veins. They are conjoined and collateral and closed. Already we have referred this the same points: conjoined, what is collateral, what is bicollateral, what is exarch and what is endarch. And in root and the stem anatomy we had a discussion. So the vascular bundles are conjoined, collateral and closed. Each vascular bundle will be surrounded by a sheath of parenchymatous. This layer is a parenchymatous surrounding the vascular bundle, and it is called bundle sheath. And each vascular bundle consists of xylem lying towards the or facing towards the upper epidermis, and the phloem facing or lying towards the lower epidermis. So this is the nature of the vascular bundle. So this is the anatomical structure of the dicot leaf, where mango leaf is given as an example. And coming to the last topic in this slide, that is about the internal structure of monocot leaf. Example, grass leaf is given as an example. And as usual, this topic starts with the epidermis, and epidermis is the outermost layer, and the monocot leaf has an upper and the lower epidermis. And the epidermis is made up of parenchymatous cells, and the major difference between compared to the other epidermal growth is that here epidermis is made up of parenchymatous cells like all other maybe in the dicot leaf or in the monocot or in the dicot root. And here cuticle is also present on the outer wall, and stomata are present both on the upper and the lower epidermis. And very important, and the major difference when compared to all the epidermal structure is that here a bulliform cells are seen. And what is a bulliform cells is here? Some cells of the upper epidermis are larger and they are thin wall, and they are called bulliform cells. They are also called motor cells. That is, they are appearing in the form of maybe a large bubble shaped cells are called bulliform cells. That is the special features of the epidermis present in the monocot leaf. And coming to the mesophyll, that is, as I said earlier, meso means middle and the phylum means leaf. That is, it is the ground tissue that is present between the upper epidermis and the lower epidermis is called a mesophyll. And here the mesophyll is not differentiated into palisade parenchyma and a spongy parenchyma. It is made up of either a palisade parenchyma or a spongy parenchyma. That is what, children, in the title you can see the word called isobilateral leaf is given. What is iso means same, bi means dorsal and ventral, upper and lower lateral. So both the dorsal side and the ventral side, the upper side and the lower side, it is made up of either a palisade parenchyma or a spongy parenchyma. But definitely both the palisade and the parenchyma will not be seen in the monocot leaf. That is a common and the major difference that you have to note regarding the internal structure of monocot and the dicot leaf. And coming back to the diagram once again, so we have discussed about the epidermis, and now we are discussing about the mesophyll, and the entire tissue lying between the upper and the lower epidermis is called mesophyll. And here it is not differentiated into the palisade parenchyma and the spongy parenchyma. That is, mesophyll is not differentiated, and the cells are irregularly arranged with intercellular space here, and more number of chloroplasts are present here. That is what, children, whenever you draw this diagram, and inside you have to just shade little bit, which shows that it contains numerous number of chloroplasts is seen here. And coming to the vascular bundle, large number of vascular bundles are usually present here, and sometimes, that is, some of which are small and some may be larger. See that this is a larger vascular bundle and some are smaller also is seen here. Now each and every vascular bundle will be surrounded by that is a kind of simple tissue called parenchymatous bundle, that is parenchymatous bundle sheath. And the vascular bundles are conjoined collateral in the close, and xylem, that is present towards the upper epidermis. And the phloem is present. Here you can see in this diagram, xylem towards the upper epidermis and the phloem is present facing towards the lower epidermis. So this is the internal structure of the monocot leaf. And in the next page you can see the difference between the dicot leaf and the monocot leaf is given. This can be asked for one short answer. So dicot leaf, that is dorsiventral leaf. And what is the dorsiventral leaf? That is a leaf where there is a differentiation of dorsal side and the ventral side. That is palisade parenchyma and the spongy parenchyma. Palisade parenchyma lying below the upper epidermis, spongy parenchyma lying above the lower epidermis or below the upper epidermis is called dorsiventral leaf. And isobilateral, iso means same, bilateral in both the region. It is made up of either a palisade parenchyma or a spongy parenchyma. And the second important difference is mesophyll is differentiated into palisade and spongy, whereas it is not differentiated in the monocot leaf. Children, I hope you all have understood the anatomical structure of root, stem and the leaf. I am sure that if you prepare this topic along with the diagram, you can learn very easily. And not only that, this video will also be useful and will be supportive to prepare higher secondary first year, that is unit 9 in botany, which will be very easy for you. See you back with another interesting topic in the next video. Thank you.